Welcome, everybody. This is the Ingram Micro Cloud Cisco Spark launch webinar. My name is Arun Wadhwani from the Ingram Cloud team. Joining me today is Rutledge Shah, who's one of our pre-sales specialists around the Cisco product. We're just going to quickly take you through a quick overview on what Cisco Spark is, give you an overview of the technology, and then from there we'll run through a quick demo on what Cisco Spark's all about, and followed by an update from myself and a quick overview of the marketplace. So I'd just like to introduce you to Rutledge. He's been with Ingram now for quite a long time and obviously very skilled around Cisco, and we'll just give you a quick overview of what Cisco Spark is all about. Over to you.
Thanks, Arun. Hi, everyone. My name is Rutledge. I basically work as a Cisco solution architect at Ingram Micro. I've been in this role for more than 5 years, and my specialization is around Cisco's collaboration portfolio. So today we're just going to go through an overview of what Cisco Spark is, and we'll also go through a demo of how the application looks like, and we're just going to have a desktop client for that. And then Arun is going to take us through the marketplace overview, and then we'll basically take questions and answers from you guys. So let's get started. Pretty much the reason why Cisco introduced Spark was in the collaboration industry, there were quite a bit of variety of disjointed collaboration tools. And what I mean by disjointed tools was, if you really look at a day-to-day activity of an employee within an organization, they normally spend quite a bit of time toggling between different collaboration or communication tools. So they use one application for email, most probably Microsoft Outlook. They use voice clients, so it could be a hard IP phone or pretty much a soft client like Jabber or Link or the likes of that. And then they use meetings, which could be, once again, a separate application or a tool altogether. So it could be a WebEx, or it could be Microsoft meetings, Skype for business meetings and stuff like that. And then they use another application for sharing content. So just by toggling between different tools, within a day-to-day activity, the employee actually loses many hours of productivity. And what Cisco has done is they have actually built an integrated suite that basically enables collaboration without friction. And we'll go through the demo as to how the actual service and the client looks like. And it will just showcase how easy is it to start a chat, a meeting, as well as sharing content without any friction. So pretty much what Cisco Spark is they actually have a combination of software, hardware, and cloud resources, and they've actually implemented industry's most advanced collaboration suite. In terms of the actual services, once again, Spark is just not a client. It's pretty much a service. It's a platform wherein you have 3 key services within that. So one of the key services within Cisco Spark is meetings. Once again, Spark meetings are actually run by WebEx, which most of the collaboration users are already familiar with. And we will go through a lot more detail when we actually go through the demo itself. Then we've got messaging. So pretty much this is one-on-one messaging or group messaging, and it also includes content sharing as well as whiteboarding as well. And then we've got calling. So this is basically cloud-based calling. So the likes of just registering your IP phone or a soft client to Cisco Spark Cloud and just making phone calls, whether it could be a landline or a mobile phone call, directly from the client itself. Just as an FYI, cloud calling is still not available in Australia. Cisco has actually just recently acquired a company by the name of BroadSoft, and the integration is hopefully should be completed within the next 3 to 6 months, and we'll soon see an offering around cloud calling pretty soon, even in the marketplace as well. So this application and service can be used on any device and in any application. And what I mean by that is whether it could be a mobile device, so Android, iOS, or Windows OS device. You can actually install that on those devices. You can have a desktop, desktop application. And Cisco has got a rich video endpoint portfolio, conference room portfolio, and Spark application is actually integrated within the video portfolio itself. And there is quite a bit of deep integration of business application with Spark. Some of the examples are content sharing services like Box, Dropbox, OneDrive. You also got integration with Salesforce, CRM platform, Trello, GitHub, to name a few. And you also got quite a bit of integration with bots as well. And I'll actually show one of the use case of bots within the application itself. So just deep diving into one of those 3 key services, we'll start with meetings. Once again, when we talk about meetings, we're talking about audio, video, and web conferencing. It's pretty much the meetings that is powered by WebEx. WebEx has been around for more than a decade, and it is one of the industry's most rich and advanced meetings conference solution. One of the key advantage of Spark meetings is anyone can join. So you can also have like a third-party standards-based SIP endpoint, and they can actually participate in this particular meeting as well. We've got 2 types of meetings. We've got instant meeting and we've got scheduled meeting. So from a scheduling point of view, it's as easy as just clicking on one button, and it has got really good integration with Microsoft Outlook. And we'll actually show in the demo as well, how easy is it to do a scheduled meeting. You also have whiteboarding as well. So, whiteboarding and content sharing. Content sharing is as easy as just dragging and dropping a file into a space. Cisco calls a virtual meeting room as space. So pretty much space is where you'll have internal and external participants participating to achieve a common goal. And there is also an ability to deploy Spark meetings on-premise. We won't really go too much deep dive into how that's possible, but with Cisco, you also have this option of having an on-prem media node present within the organization just to cater for all the heavy bandwidth requirements. So that's about meetings. We'll go into messaging. So once again, it's business messaging, end-to-end encryption. Pretty much, you can have one-on-one messaging, like a private messaging kind of thing, and then team persistent messaging. So all messages are actually stored in cloud, and pretty much it's always persistent. So whenever you open a client or you open an app, pretty much all those messages are always there to have a look at it. It's really easy to find content. Everything is in context. There's always, as I mentioned, it's end-to-end encrypted. Cisco always takes security quite seriously, and security has been quite a dominating thing that they actually introduced before they went on with Cisco Spark. Once again, you can easily escalate one-on-one or team messaging into meetings. You can start instant messaging or schedule a meeting just from a single pane of glass. And as I mentioned, it integrates really well with existing business applications. So the likes of Microsoft Outlook and any of the content sharing applications as well. Calling, I'm not going to focus too much around calling since it's not available as of this moment in Australia and New Zealand, but pretty much what it is it's a cloud-based phone system. So any Cisco endpoints that you have, either 7800 series or 8800 series, or whether it could be a Spark application, pretty much it just gets registered to Cisco's cloud services, and pretty much you can start making phone calls, within 5 to 10 minutes after getting those endpoints provisioned. Once again, PSTN connectivity is provided, and as I mentioned, Cisco has acquired this company called BroadSoft, and the PSTN connectivity is going to be part of the subscription-based services. So BroadSoft is actually, a leading cloud provider in the unified communication as a service, platform. They probably have about 40 to 50% market share all over the world, and their cloud services are going to be integrated within Cisco Spark calling. Like at this stage, we don't really have a time frame as to when we'll have this Spark calling enabled, but pretty much we're looking anywhere in between 3 to 6 months time frame, and we'll let you guys know, when the calling aspect is available. Once again, from an ordering perspective, cloud calling, as I mentioned, is not available, so please ignore anything that's in the top portion. So C1, C2, C3 are still not available. What is available though is, offerings which are called M1, M2, and M3. Pretty much if you have sold Office 365, this kind of offerings might be quite familiar to you guys. Unfortunately, M2 won't be around. It has been already taken off from the GPL as well as the marketplace, and the reason being they've just simplified the offering. So pretty much what M1 offers is business messaging, and that's pretty much it. If you want any of the advanced meetings functionality, pretty much you buy M3, which includes everything that M1 offers, so business messaging plus WebEx powered meetings. So really simplified in terms of how you can order it. Arun is going to take you through how to order those things. It's available in monthly subscription as well as yearly subscription as well. And then there are options to actually add on to those offerings. So if you've got any of the Spark endpoints, so the likes of Spark Board or Spark Roomkit Plus, pretty much if you want to register those endpoints to Spark Cloud, you just purchase the room registration for those particular endpoints. You also got conference audio, so this is pretty much the dial-in and the callback functionality for the PSTN. So if you don't really want to use VoIP, and if you want to use your mobile device to actually join the conference, pretty much you can have this callback functionality and that's an added subscription that you normally go for. And I just wanted to just quickly point out, the overall Cisco's collaboration endpoint portfolio. It's just not video endpoints. They've got really rich, desktop voice and video endpoints as well. So if you really look, it's actually broken down into different categories. If you look for a collaboration room, like meeting room kind of experience endpoints, pretty much we're looking at all these devices on the top here. So the likes of Roomkit Plus, Room 55, Room 70, Sparkboard 55 and 70 inch, and then you also got like integrated solutions. So pretty much you just buy codecs and then you integrate your existing screens and accessories like your microphones, loudspeakers into this integrated solution kit. So the likes of SX10, 20, and 80. And then you got desktop video endpoints, so pretty much 8845, 8865. And then you also got DX endpoints, which are pretty much all in one solution. So you got like a small screen, I think it's like 21 inch and 25 inch screens. and it's got like a 1080p video integrated into the kit itself. And then once again, rich portfolio in terms of soft clients as well. So you've got Spark application, you also got WebEx client, and then you got Jabber application as well. And then voice endpoints, 7800 and 8800 series. You also got wireless IP phones as well. And then you got conference handsets as well. So pretty much end-to-end hardware and software endpoint solution. So I'm just going to quickly go through, how the actual application looks like. So let's quickly have a look at it. So this is a desktop application of Spark. Pretty much, as you could see, you got, as I mentioned, you got one-on-one messaging, and you also got group messaging. But it's more than messaging. I've actually got a M3 subscription, so pretty much I've got messaging as well as meetings, and I'll show you, how easy is it to use. So if I really wanted to have a one-to-one communication, it would all appear in this particular corner. So I've got quite a bit of list of one-on-one communication. In terms of just adding people, it's as easy as just clicking on contact a person, and pretty much you just search for a people. So I'll just explain how it's populated. So if a person is within your organization, and if it has been synchronized by Active Directory, pretty much it would appear straight away. So if I just search one of my colleagues' name, say Raymond, I can straight away see him, and it would be just clicking on this particular name, and it would straight away start one-on-one communication. I already had one-on-one chat with him since last few days. So as I mentioned, all the chat is persistent, and I also have an option to actually share files, also one-on-one calls, and also schedule onboarding. But the main beauty is group messaging or group activities. So we've got one of the space, and once again it's called space because it's essentially a virtual meeting room. So you can have internal employees as well as external employees participating in a virtual meeting room. In the past, just in order for the external people, like if you had vendors or if you had third-party integrators actually communicating, you always had to do a federation, and you had to work with your security team in order to make sure that the security protocols and firewall ports are actually open. It's all taken care for you in this particular services. So essentially, what you have to do is just create a space, click on the plus sign, and create a space, and pretty much just name the space. So I can just say Cisco space, and I can just start adding people. So people could be internal to my organization, and they could be external as well. If they are external, pretty much I have to just provide them with the email address, and it would pretty much create a space, and I can start collaborating with them. So I can start doing messaging as well as content sharing, as well as whiteboarding and and video conferencing. I'm just going to take one example that one of the space that I've already participated in, and just show you, how to navigate it. So pretty much, if you look at the top right-hand corner, there is a workspace activity button. So if I click on that, pretty much I've got a few different options. I can click on files, and it would show me all the files that we as a team within the space have already collaborated on. So there are quite a bit of files. In terms of adding a file, it's as easy as just clicking on this particular attachment link, and I can just basically go and add that particular file, and it would be straight away available to the participants. I can go on and have a look at, how many people or how many, employees are there within this particular space. So if I click on that, and once again, it also shows, people outside my company are included in this space, just to make sure that they actually highlight this, just to make sure that none of the confidential information are passed on to external people, if there is a need be. Yeah. So that's that. Whiteboarding as well. Pretty much you can use any of the Spark registered video endpoints to do whiteboarding. So one of the good examples would be Spark Board, for example. You can start, a seamless whiteboarding session, and that particular session would be visible to anyone within that particular space. And in terms of calling, I can start an instant meeting. So all I need to do is just basically press this green call button, and it would send out a video meeting invite to everyone within this particular space. And then if I don't want to do instant meetings, probably I want to give more time to people and just schedule a meeting. All I need to do is just click on the meetings and just say create meeting invite. And what it would do is it would basically send out an API call out to the Outlook, and it would normally it would take like about 30 to 40 seconds in order for this to happen, but it would populate all the people and all I need to do in that particular instance is just basically provide the date and time. And once that's done, as you can see here, I click on send. I just put in the start time and date and time. And when I click on send, it would basically send out the scheduled meeting invite to all the people within that particular space. And all they need to do is once they get that invite, they click on this join Spark meetings, and it automatically opens up the client, and you can start meeting, same WebEx meeting from the client itself. I just quickly wanted to show you one of the bot integration that I had. So pretty much this has got quite a few bot integrations that are available. One of the bots that they have made available to everyone is a Sales Connect bot. So this is like a learning and education platform for anything to do with Cisco. Pretty much all I need to do is just basically type in some of the keywords like Cisco Spark, and what it would do is pretty much it would send out the bot would actually show me all the results that are related to Cisco Spark, and then I can click on one of the links and it will take me to one of the Sales Connect education page as such. So I think that's pretty much what I really wanted to cover from an overview and a demo perspective. We'll probably take any Q&A towards the end of the session. What I'll do is I'll pass on the ball to Arun, who is just going to cover the marketplace. Over to you, Arun.
Great. Thank you, Rashid, for your update there. Very useful. It looks like quite an easy product to sell, and we're very excited to have it coming on the marketplace. So great news. Anybody that has any questions, we've got the chat function running on the webinar, so feel free to send those through, and also we'll address those towards the end. I'll just quickly give you a quick update on the Ingram Cloud Marketplace, and also give you a view of how that looks. Those of you that haven't seen the marketplace before, it's our e-commerce portal that allows partners to come into the system and actually place their orders directly through the marketplace, and we've got full APS integration into the back end with Cisco, and essentially without them needing the need to place manual orders, it allows the integration provision to happen almost straight away within a matter of about half an hour to an hour, obviously once you've actually submit your order through the portal. It's really good obviously for providing great service to your customers and being able to turn things around very quickly for them. So just very quickly going through some of the slides. Those of you that haven't the marketplace before, you have what's called the reseller control panel, and that's where you go in the very first time that you're looking to place your first Cisco order, and actually enter your details as a Cisco reseller. This is something which you do once, and then once you've done that moving forward, when you want to place future orders, it can all be done through the front end of the marketplace, which I'll come through in a moment. But it's actually quite a simple process. It's very easy to do, and once you've done it once, then it's there for future reference. So all you need to do once you're in the reseller control panel is click on the collaboration, which I've got there on the screen, and that will take you straight into the Cisco settings. From there, we just need to enter in your what we call the DISTI validated RAN, which is basically your Cisco reseller ID. Once that's been created and saved, you'll see that sitting there under the edit settings. You go in and key in that number next to where it says DISTI validated RAN, and obviously as the reseller name, you'll see that as your own organization, and then just hit save. What we've actually, once that's been set up and your code's been saved, that means any future orders that you now place will straight away know your reseller credentials with Cisco, and then we know obviously delays we're getting the provisioning of those orders that you've sent through. Those of you that aren't aware of the offer that Cisco have done as part of this launch around Cisco Spark on the marketplace, we've got the introductory offer for our top 3 partners. And for the top 3 sellers running between February and the 28th of April, we're offering $500 Visa card for the top performing partner, i.e. the most number of sales, $250 Visa card for the second, and $100 Visa card for the top partner. Also, we've got messaging there. You probably would have seen this already on the EDM that went out, obviously, that invites you to this webinar, where we're talking about the messaging around the solution, and it's also about the simple, the secure, the complete, and the open. A lot of those components which Rutledge has already covered off in the first part of the session. Also, this is just a quick overview of the marketplace. This is once you go into the front end, you go into our marketplace available through Ingram Micro Cloud. You'll see there under collaboration, you'll see Cisco Spark, and you'll see there what the program actually looks like, and that's the view you would see going into the actual portal. From there, you'll be able to select the products which are relevant, obviously, to your customer based on those discussions. And we have the options around Cisco Spark M1 and Cisco Spark M3. Also within the tool, you have the ability to purchase the subscription either monthly, or you'll see that as an upfront annual cost. So you'll see there for the M1 option for Spark is $7.30 per month, which equates to $75.31, obviously at an annual cost. Or if you go for the full suite, which is the M3 option, your price is there $28.70 versus $366 for the annual subscription. So again, upfront cost, but what it does mean is that you can either present your billing monthly or you can present it as an annual cost to your clients, obviously once you've got that provision set up for them. So a lot of flexibility around that. Also, the margin as a Cisco reseller through the marketplace, you have over 30 points reseller margin against that sale. Your customer won't see your pricing, obviously that's confidential to you and us, but the retail price there equates to about 30 points margin. So good margin to be had with Cisco Spark. Just so you know what the cart looks like, if you're going through and actually placing the order, I've given you there a couple of examples of what it looks like on the next screen once you've clicked select. You'll see Cisco Spark, the monthly cost, and you'll see there the recurring cost. I mentioned the margin there was over 30 points. Your price works out on the monthly subscription for M1 at $7.30. The full retail price for that monthly subscription is $10.43. So obviously that's all very healthy. I've also included there the option should you select on the annual SKU, again for M1 and M3, and you'll see there the pricing comes through at, move that across. So the retail price from that is $107.59 for the M1 option, and your buy, obviously as a Cisco reseller through Ingram, works out to $75.31. So again, good margin. If you have any questions or you've never placed your order through the Ingram Marketplace before, feel free to contact my team directly in Sydney on 9381-6735, or you can just go on to our website, which is ingrammicrocloud.com.au. We've got a dedicated sales team based here in Sydney, and they're also happy to take any calls and help you around placing your first order, obviously, if you come across any problems. Okay, and simplify your success. So that's the end of our session today. Also, we now are opening up to any questions that you may have. Feel free to send those through the chat box and we'll field any questions. Thank you. Okay, do we have any questions come up?
Okay, so we've got one question which says, I think from Mahbub, any demo available? Sorry, can you clarify what you mean by demo? Do you mean those subscription as a demo for, say, I mean, like 2 or 3 months or something? I don't think it's available from Marketplace as such, but I think you can request from one of your Cisco account managers to see if those demo are available or not. I think there's another question from Maria.
Yeah.
Did you mention the IM reseller ID is what you use, not the Cisco ID?
It's, so Australia is a little bit different, and it's actually the Ingram Micro reseller ID is what we're using to validate that allows you to resell Cisco. So when I showed you the steps at the beginning around creating that registration to become a reseller for Cisco, it's actually your Ingram Micro reseller ID that we're actually keying in. That was only just being clarified this morning. Thank you, Maria, for reminding me.
And I think there's one question from Slava, hardware trials in particular. Unfortunately, at this stage, we are not offering any hardware trials to be specific, but we're actually working with our product management team to see, with some of the endpoints like Spark boards, we can actually provide trials, but it's once again on a case-by-case basis. So if you're interested in one of the hardware endpoint trial, please send an email to Cisco sales@ingrammicro.com.au. So I'll just send. I'll just basically link it on to the chat panel, the email address. We are still around for next 5 minutes or so. So any questions, please feel free to post it in chat panel.
Hey, do we have any other questions? Okay, we'll just give it a couple more minutes just in case there's any last minute questions come up. Okay, I think we're done with the questions. So thank you, Rutledge, for your help there today. I hope you got something from attending today's webinar on Cisco Spark and the launch. Obviously, we do have Cisco Live coming up, which is next week in Melbourne. Ingram Micro will be having a stand there and a showcase. And we've also got a presentation from our General Manager for Cloud, which is Lee Walsh. His session runs at 4:15 on the Thursday. So feel free to go along to the presentation or come to the showcase and also get to see a little bit more about Cisco Spark at the event. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you everybody for joining, and we'll wish you well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.